It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. My friends, you have arrived on a Friday. It is the end of another long week. We deserve our weekend. We have earned it. And I am with you, my friends. I have you covered. We're going to be listening to a classic song by Rush today. Some might even call it a masterpiece here for Masterpiece Friday. It's closer to the heart, and I'm happy that you are with me. So it is hard to believe, friends, but it's been more than 7 months since we've listened to any Rush music on the channel, and that ends today because, this is one of their big time hits, and it feels like we've been all around this song, kind of dancing around it, and I can't believe that we haven't included it yet on the channel. I had to look into it, and I looked into it a few times to make sure that this wasn't included, but we haven't done it yet, so today is the day. As I was looking back into this, very early on our Patreon, in episode 2, no less, we listened to Cygnus X1, Book 1, from A Farewell to Kings. And then we followed the Cygnus saga into Book 2, which took up all of Side 1 from their next album, Hemispheres, and I then finished the Hemispheres album with the 3 songs from Side 2 of that album. And although I have heard Xanadu previously, I haven't heard the rest of A Farewell to Kings, y'all. And that includes their classic song, Closer to the Heart. Well, I have heard Closer to the Heart on the radio, but I've never really given it the look under the microscope here and tried to analyze all that they were doing. And it's been a long time since I've heard it. So I'm really looking forward to this episode. The song starts off Side 2 of A Farewell to Kings, which was their 5th album, released in 1977, and it was a lead single from the album. And like I said, the song became their first hit single, their first big hit, especially in the UK, and it also made waves in North America, mainly because it was short enough to be played on the radio in a variety of formats. Rush, in their 70s days especially, are primarily known for their longer prog rock epics. I mean, we're talking about songs like 2112, The Fountain of Lamneth, The Necromancer, La Via Strangiato, the Cygnus X1 saga, and Xanadu. But Closer to the Heart only clocks in at about 3 minutes. And about this song, later on, Geddy said this. He says that it has always resonated with people for some reason. And it was a hit as far as we've ever had a hit. It got us on the radio, the kinds of radio that would never normally associate with us. So it was as close as we ever came to a pop hit, especially at that point in our career. That's where I know it from, friends. I've heard it over the years on the radio. And what I remember of it is that it's really up-tempo. It's got a lovely beat, and Geddy's singing in the rafters like he normally does, and it sounds like Rush. So let's figure it out, shall we? I've got my keyboard here with me. I'm going to see if I can figure out a little bit of what's going on in this classic song, and then we'll finish it up. It'll be fun. Geddy Lee is on vocals and the bass. Alex Lifeson is on guitars, and Neil Peart is on drums and percussion. Neil and his friend Peter Talbot share the lyric writing credits for this as well. So let's get to it, friends. Here is Closer to the Heart by Rush. Off we go. That's jumping around A. Do, re, ti, la, sol. Ooh, hear those bass pedals too.
And the men who hold high places must be the ones who start to mold a new reality closer to the heart.
Okay, yeah.
Closer to the heart. The blacksmith and the artist reflected in their art. They forge their creativity closer to the heart.
It's the chorus is a continuation of the verse, of the lyric from the verse. Bing, bum, bum.
Philosophers and plowmen, each must know his part to sow a new mentality closer to the heart. Yes, closer to the heart.
Wow!
Yeah!
It's a high D, y'all. Yet he could sing. So now it sounds like they're in D. They were in A, kind of mixolydian. So it's a similar scale. Now D mixolydian. Back in A. It's just do, re, ti, do, ti, la, sol in A major.
Whoa, whoa, you can be the captain and I'm the rubber chart, sailing into destiny, closer to the heart, closer to the heart, well, closer to the heart.
Amazing.
Yeah,
It's a
closer
catchy,
to the heart.
catchy song.
Closer to the heart. I say closer to the heart. Well, closer to the heart. Yeah.
And, like I said, it's already done. You know, there's a lot of Rush songs we would just be getting through the introduction at 3 minutes in, but the song's done. And that's part of the magic of this particular song that got it on the radio. Because, of course, radio formats love to have these shorter songs so they can get, to many within an hour, right? Or within a day that they're playing and spinning these tunes. I want to take a look at a couple things. Well, first of all, friends, I'm put my cord over there. Hi, y'all. What did I hear? That's one of the riffs. It's in A, and it uses a leading tone. It's in true A major. Do, re, ti, do, ti, la, sol. Over that A, and then... Right, so now it gets into mixolydian mode, because at first we were da, da, ti, do, ti, la, sol. And then when it goes to that chorus, it uses the G natural instead. And then at one point they got into D, I think, and it was... Right, and it uses that lower G, too, that makes you feel like... Makes you feel like you're in D instead of in A. And then that other one to get you back into A. A couple of really great riffs. And I want to see and dig in a little bit more into the lyrics here, because one of the things that I never really realized is that Closer to the Heart, the lyrics themselves, just continue on from what the verses have been saying, and it finishes the thought. That's a really cool technique for building a lyric. And, Ever the Philosopher, our co-lyricist here and drummer, Neil, noted that A Farewell to Kings deals with many problems in its songs. Well, with Closer to the Heart, he's dealing with some solutions and addressing solutions. And the solution appears, at least in their lyrics, to be quite simple. No matter who you are in society, consider yourself not just as a standalone person. Consider yourself as you solve problems, as well as your wider community and the people around you. And I'm going back, I want to look through here, through the lyrics. You can be a man who holds a high place. You can be, a blacksmith or a trade worker. You can be the artist, Cool. You can be a philosopher, you can be a plowman or a farmer, any of those things. Just focus on knowing your part, right? And that you really are a part of a broad and diverse community. And from that perspective, we can sow our solutions within this new mentality and get closer to the heart, right? And which, in my mind, means getting as close as possible to a solution that is equitable and doesn't cause harm intentionally, but empowers as broad a coalition of people as possible. And it's a really great message. In the end here, if the best solution is for you to not be the leader, it's perfectly fine to let someone else be the captain. Take a look at this. Whoa, you can be the captain and I will draw the chart, sailing into destiny closer to the heart. And it's just great. It's perfectly fine to let somebody else be the captain. And if that happens, we should still do our part by drawing the chart and sailing into our destiny. It's just always a pleasure to when you peel back the layers and kind of stop time and go, what was that song that I just heard and what were they talking about? Not only are the sounds just iconic, they've got the tubular bells in there, they've got some other orchestral like glockenspiel bells in there. Neil's doing a bunch on some auxiliary percussion in this song. It's got a great hook, it's got great rock and roll, but it's got some pop elements to it as well. And at its heart, a lyric that is humanist and is just absolutely beautiful. And it makes for a classic tune. It's not like anything else that I know from Rush. I am used to, like I said, to dealing with these long, beautiful, and lovely, complicated songs. That one's as close to a pop hit as we get from Rush. And I'm okay with it, friends. It's a great tune. And especially like the message that it leaves us on here for this Masterpiece Friday. Our Masterpiece Friday episodes are normally quite lengthy and may deal with an entire album or half of an album. This time, we're just dealing with a short little tune, but it's okay. It's a masterpiece as well, and has kept Rush in the radio zeitgeist and helped keep them in the conversation for all of these years, and it's one of their best, absolute best. Closer to the heart, friends. This has been fun to get back to some Rush finally after all of these months, and I am hopeful that it won't be so long before we get back to them again, but I think that is all for us today and this week. I thank you for being with me, and we will see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.
It's the Daily Doug. Welcome to the Daily Doug. The Daily